Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. Welcome back to another episode of Adventure Capital, where we discuss the entrepreneurial journeys and adventures with founders who have raised capital on WeFunder. Huzzah! Today we have Adam Weiler, CEO of Sunken Stone, a turnkey solution using custom software to help brands sell more on Amazon. Hook 'em up, Adam! WeFunder gang, take it away.
So Adam, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get started. Maybe you could give us an overview of what you guys do at Sunken Stone.
Yeah, so Sunken Stone is a performance-based Amazon agency. We help brands win on Amazon. We built out a lot of cool internal software that automates a lot of the process and helps us scale brands on Amazon. And we wanted to grow that even further.
And when you say agency, so is this like a marketing agency? Can you talk about some of the services that you're providing to your clients when it comes to winning on Amazon?
Yeah, I would say a tech-enabled service. So we are managing content creation and distribution. We are
content creation being like the copy of the kind of page on Amazon.
Exactly. Yeah, the images and copy. Okay. On Amazon. So whatever you see on Amazon, we're creating that for a brand.
And is there offline assets as well, or that you're kind of running Facebook ads to the Amazon page, or it's just entirely within the Amazon website?
We often get dragged and our attention split to other areas, but I always, as a founder, I always try to bring us back to focus and just staying within the Amazon. There's so much potential just within that ecosystem for right now.
And when you say distribution, content creation, distribution, what does distribution look like?
I'm using a big word for uploading and making it live. So we'll make it and then we'll get the page updated to reflect it, which it's not like Shopify. If you've ever, you can upload a new image on your Shopify site or other site in a second. With Amazon, it's not so easy. You have to open cases and talk to support. So it can be a convoluted process.
Is there also I don't know much about selling on Amazon. Is there also algorithms that you can pay advertising money to bump yourself up in? Is that, I presume there's some sort of advertising world within Amazon. I thought you were going to say the distribution element of what you do kind of encompasses that as well.
We definitely handle the advertising on Amazon as well. We have a separate team for that. And it is, they rolled it out a few years ago and they must have looked at those reports and just kind of, congratulated each other. They roll out the advertising. There's no cost to them. They're selling space on their own website. It's the highest margin thing that they sell in their entire ecosystem, and it works. And it hasn't watered down the buying process yet.
So you're helping your clients with that aspect of it as well. And so
yeah. There's about 25 different types of campaigns that we're running just on Amazon.
Cool. So tell us about the history of the company. How did you get into this? When did you launch the company? How's the growth been since then?
Yeah, so I started the company in 2007, end of 2007. It was just like Nintendo was trading cards, when it first launched, and then evolved. And Sunken Stone was myself selling audio video accessories, credit card cash advance for some products out of China, and private labeled them and put them up for sale. And it really was about 4.5 years ago that we tried to private label some dog products, some pet products. And the company was like, no, we've got that. We're not going to sell to you, but why don't you help run our Amazon? We're like, okay, I guess we can do that. Took them from a 6-figure run rate to an 8-figure run rate in about 6 months.
In 6 months?
Yeah. This is,
wow.
If you're a brand and you've got it, if you got the raw materials and you've got you got the jet fuel, we know how to get you off the launch pad.
That can't have been just, your guys back on Amazon? That must have been like they launched a bunch of other products. They launched in wider distribution. Like, was that all just you?
The fundamentals were there, right? Like they had a 100,000 square foot warehouse and marketing budget and great branding and almost a near monopoly in the supply chain. So like with those things and our Amazon, it was like gasoline, and we were the match.
Wow, that's a pretty amazing story. So that was 2007. That's like a long journey.
Oh, so that was 4 years ago. So around 2018 is when we did it for that brand.
Well, sorry, but that brand, but the company started in 2007. So that's kind of a long journey.
Yeah.
So has that been kind of gradually building it up little by little over the last 14 years, or is there kind of major pivots along that journey, or
a lot of I have a great friend who says our business is ourselves, right? And we are our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, and I think it's so true, it's like, Tesla is Elon Musk, right? Like the same characteristics that and Steve Jobs was Apple, or Apple was Steve Jobs. And in the beginning of Sunken Stone, it was a total lifestyle business. I was in my 20s and wanted to go travel and wasn't taking it very seriously, and also thought I was the smartest person when it came to everything. So I didn't really, I wasn't listening to podcasts and audiobooks and trying to level up, and the business kind of just paid for my life, and that was cool. And I got to go travel and do things. And then the next evolution was we tried to, we took some lines of products that I was sourcing, and we tried to make a run at some retail distribution, and learned a lot of lessons. Got into a few stores in the outdoor space, and realized even if we succeeded here, why was I getting away from the things I was good at, which was selling stuff on Amazon? Mm-hmm. And I was going to all these retail trade shows and excited about selling 20 units when I could just go to Amazon and sell some more stuff.
So then, so where are you at right now from a revenue traction perspective?
Yeah. So the last 3 years have just been, kick ass. We're growing. I think it's close to a 50% compounded growth rate the last 3 years. We just, with the help of WeFunder, actually, with the help of the campaign, we just completed the acquisition merger of another agency that we bolted on to it. So currently we are about 30 something US employees, about 60 something international. We're about to cross the 100-person mark. Currently managing about 102, 103 brands on Amazon. So it's really kind of just kicked into gear the last couple of years.
So the acquisition is interesting. Can you talk about that? Were these guys kind of complementary to you, or were they doing the same thing and you just basically bought their book of business and can achieve some cost synergies? What was the
yeah, a little of both. A ton of cost synergies, and they had a book of business in a complementary, a vertical that we didn't really have saturation in. And but they also, I would say we're great at sales, marketing, and kind of scale ops, and they were the SEAL team of ops, and they can, they're great with scripting and more automations, bringing some efficiencies to our big machine is how I was talking about it.
Cool. And so have you now completed that transaction? And if so, how's that going? Because acquisitions are obviously, that can be a rocky road, right? You got two cultures, people like their own culture. trying to force two cultures together can be quite a challenge. So I'm curious, if you're kind of down that road now, and how's that going, and what approach have you taken? Are you keeping the cultures super distinct, or are you just kind of forcing the coming together?
Yeah, we're coming together, and maybe ask me in 6 months how it's going. Like
Yeah.
I am the eternal optimist, and I think it's going great. We did our kickoff calls kind of separately and then together over the last 2 weeks. People seem really excited. It was my job as CEO to just kind of outline the vision, but also talk about what the expectations are. Like, no one, like, you're here because we want you here. No one's going anywhere. We're not. Instead of merging and getting rid of, quote unquote dead weight, we're merging, and we have excess capacity for growth. We're going to need this stuff because we're getting bigger, and you're here for a reason. And people are excited about that. And the core values. It's funny you talk about that. We kind of laid them out, and their core values matched up really well with ours. It's almost like you just changed the word to summarize it, but the underlying meaning is the same. So I'm anticipating a good transition.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and so had you raised capital before? Let's see, on WeFunder, you raised 584K, is that right?
Yeah.
From
that's awesome.
investors. I'm on your campaign page right now. Just closed it last month. Had you raised capital previously, or was this the first outside capital you brought in?
Besides credit card cash advances or a bank line of credit, this was the first outside capital event we had done. This is really awesome.
And was it just for the acquisition you needed this capital? Because I guess most kind of agencies they're pretty asset light, and so they're kind of growing through revenues and not kind of taking dilution for the most part. But was it primarily to fund the acquisition? You were looking at raising customers.
I would say two big reasons behind the campaign. The first one was for some capital to be able to go make some acquisitions, potentially find some Amazon software out there that I know of and roll them in, go heavy on marketing and ramp up our tech. That's kind of on the use of funds. But then the really great thing about the platform is because it's public, you're making a big splash, and you're making in it. People like to be, you can go raise funds from a private equity group or a venture capital group or something, and no one even knows about it unless you put out some crappy PR page. But this, this is making waves within my personal and professional network. Other people are sharing this, and it's leading to more of the intended activities. Like more private equity firms are reaching out because they see us on this versus if we had ran a traditional process. So really hats off to you guys.
That's really cool. Actually, I mean, was that one of the reasons you were looking at raising capital through regulation crowdfunding on WeFunder, or what was the rationale in going this route for this raise?
Yeah, so the publicity, definitely a nice unintended consequence out of there. Probably 25% of it, or maybe 40%. The other 60 was this. We've got what I would consider world-class capabilities in this space that is seeing its peak right now. So this is the time for this. If we're going to do this, it's time to go big and not kind of just play it safe like we've been doing the last ever since I took a credit card cash advance. So this is the time. And then what's the kind of maximum splash ROI in terms of dollars raised and publicity? And the WeFunder satisfies both of those.
That's awesome. And you just touched on this, but are there other examples of, you mentioned private equity firms now coming to you to get in on the action themselves, which is awesome to hear that. Are there other examples? Like, one thing I always dream of hearing more stories of is, if the WeFunder campaign is leading to revenue growth, are there other ways in which the WeFunder campaign is kind of contributing to building of momentum for Sunken State?
Yeah, well, your dreams are answered. So
yes.
we have people who invested funds. I'm
leading the witness here, man. I'm like,
right, exactly.
It's a good example right now of campaign. Go ahead.
All good. Your wishes are answered. So we had people write big checks, put money in, and then follow that up with an email intro to potential clients.
That's
And
amazing. Really,
yeah,
that's
it's like,
so cool.
how awesome is that? Because I mean,
Uh,
they're invested now. They feel like they're part of it, and
so good.
they stand behind. If they trust us enough to trust us with their money, then of course, then they should refer people
Yeah,
that we can
and they're
help over.
financially incentivized, as you say, for
Pretty
you
awesome.
to grow the company, and they can help you do that through intros to customers. That's really
Yeah.
really cool. Um, so and what about like you ran a successful campaign. How did you do that? Any tactics that worked particularly effectively for you that you could share with someone that's maybe looking at launching a RegCF campaign?
Yeah, there it's like an iceberg where or a roller coaster. Most of the work is before you even go live. You have to have pretty much everything planned out. The content, do not compromise on that. That needs to be top notch.
Mm-hmm.
It is worth pushing the campaign to improve on that content,
Mm.
and get that really dialed in.
When you say
Um,
content, you mean campaign page, video?
Campaign page, video, exactly. Have and then your personal kind of outreach messages. Have that ready to go. Like, look through. I blocked off 2 complete days and went through
Yeah.
my text message string, my WhatsApp, my Facebook Messenger, scrolled back like 3 years and just had that message ready to go.
That is maybe the best insight I've ever heard on these podcasts. Renji from Immersed, I think, will push you. He said something of he got a team of like 30 people and they were his homies, and every time he did anything he would just text them and they would all like share the LinkedIn post, and that I thought was a great insight.
Well,
There's been many great insights, but that one, honestly, just by how tangible you made that. You blocked off 2 days. You went back over 3 years through your
yeah.
text threads. That's amazing, dude. That is so good.
And the first one was the hardest, and after that, I'm like, I don't care. And you would be so surprised. The people who I know that have 8 and 9 figure net worths would like put 0, and then other people would put 25,000 in that I would have bet would not be the case. Once I disassociated that, like like they're not, people in money are weird. You're asking for, it's not a reflection on me. Then it went a lot smoother.
That's awesome. Any other tactics? That's a great one.
Yeah, check WhatsApp, check Facebook. I should break it down by like, conversion rate
by social media platform. Yeah. Any other things that you did that were like very effective?
I'm trying to think. We gave. So 2 things. We gave the investors as good of a rights, as good as like shareholder rights as we could. So preferred shareholders, voting, non-dilution, preferred on liquidity event. And it's like, if I'm asking you to come in this, and that's the least I could do. I see all these raises that are good raises, but they like mess it up on we're giving you common, we're going to like dilutability capped on the like exit. And I'm just like, why? Like, what?
Yeah,
what do you?
100%. We generally don't allow common on WeFunder. It's like, if no angel investor or, professional investor would invest on common, why on earth would we give common to retail investors in the crowd? One, that kind of screws them over in a liquidity event. But secondly, it's going to mean that they're less likely to invest larger sums, which is going to screw you as the founder as well. I mean, terms is the other one where, oftentimes we'll see kind of founders like looking to launch with a valuation that's just too high. And it's like, again, like there's clearly, we don't have an A/B test. We've never been able to prove this with an A/B test or like robust statistical analysis, but it's very intuitively clear to me that if valuations are too high, then companies will be unsuccessful on WeFunder, which is good. That's as it should be. Yeah, whether it's on preferred versus common, or pro rata rights or information rights, that kind of thing, or if it's on valuation, I think that's a great point as well. Okay, so get your content amazing before you launch. Go back through your text messages for the last 3 years. Set aside
all your
2
communications
days,
channels,
just hit up everyone, and then just like basically, I don't know what the word is, like pay respect to, I guess, your investors. When it comes to the terms of
and on that message, really put yourself in their shoes. The first couple people were like, well, why should I invest? And I was like, oh, well, I really have to. Sorry if I don't know if I can curse on here. Feel free to bleep that out. I was like, oh, well, like succinctly, I had to put these 3 amazing bullet points, and over the first 25 or 30, I was able to impromptu A/B test till we had something that was awesome. It's like, scale out marketing, technology, like start making acquisitions, and then start to look for this like warehouse logistics space. And it's like that resonates, people get it, and then off to the races.
Very cool. Let's see. I guess coming into land, one piece of advice. I mean, you've already kind of given a few here. Although that's maybe around the execution of the campaign. This advice can be on something else. Piece of advice for a founder looking at launching a regulation crowdfunding campaign.
Do it. I think I'm doing this for every company I'm ever going to run or awesome. Angel invest.
That's really cool. What a great answer. I feel like there's a lot of tweetable content on this podcast interview so far. It's great. That's great. And what about the last question we ask every founder? One piece of advice for a founder who's starting a company, whether in a similar space to yours or just in general.
Yeah, I think just because we can doesn't mean we should. And I see so many founders focused, it seems, on the wrong what, and whether that's quarterly or yearly, some kind of planning session just to make sure that we're going towards the right goal.
And saying no to some stuff.
Saying no to most stuff.
Good strategy is saying no, right?
I'm
not always the best at
me neither.
Following that advice myself. But well, that's cool, man. Thanks so much for doing this. It's been a really fun interview. I feel like some of the examples around tactics that you employed to make the campaign successful, and then some of the like the example of the investor that then wrote an email to connect you to customers. That is, as we joked, that is my dream coming true. Well, good luck. Hopefully we might work together again if you're raising capital down the line, either for Sunken Stone or another enterprise in your future. And thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Adam. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Adventure Capital. I hope you laughed, took notes, shed a tear, and most importantly, feel ready to go off on your own adventure. And remember, whenever you are ready, WeFunder is here to help.